over his elbow. Now, there's a reason that I do this, especially if he has the crossface. So keep this in mind, and this is something that plays against him as he passes half guard, and he really wants to play this crossface game, is that as soon as I arch my head back, what happens to his elbow?
It separates from your chin.
Okay, so now it's trapped. So he's here. What I'm going to do here is I've blocked this. I'm going to kind of roll up onto my head. Now I'm trapping his elbow, and then at the time I'm ready to go, I'm going to come at the apex of his head so that my elbow kind of slides across and then comes right back down in the backside of his head, limiting now he's got a frame against his ear. So he can't come back this way here. Okay, so some of you guys was trying to and you're pushing against your own face. Okay, so roll your apex of your head, crown your head down on the mat. We're gonna go here, push, and we're gonna push across and get to our side. Now he's got that frame in my lap, in my back. Okay, if he did not concede that, what was gonna happen because this post is trapped? It's gonna go this way, right? If he doesn't concede that, we go this way. So he's gonna have to concede the head being pushed across the center line. So I'm going to bridge, put my head down, come here, and as soon as he concedes that grip, now he's got a frame against the backside of his head. It's one or the other. He's got to pick his poison. I'm also killed his hips from switching. So now I start to work my elbow underneath the chin. Now I've got a frame. Now I've got a frame. Now I need to get my next frame in. So now I'm going to grapevine the foot, turn. Knee comes inside and I catch this frame. Now we were just having a conversation. We're not going to get too deep into this, but there's a pretty deadly thing here that we cannot let happen. Can't let him flatten us back out and get this damn bottom side underhook, because this becomes pretty medieval right here. This is completely different line of threat than what we were talking about earlier. So we don't want a low side underhook. All right. So let's just keep that in mind, that I've got my knee shield here now. Okay. Crossbody, playing good solid knee shield. I want to keep this elbow outside my knee shield. Meaning, if he starts dipping that elbow on the inside to control my hip, what is it doing to my body? Flattening me right back out. That's what he wants to do. This is sort of the entire, I guess I'd say the entire philosophy behind like the Art of Jiu-Jitsu guys, Tynan and all them, starts with Hoffa and Gi. They want to block that hip, boy, and they're going to flatten you back out, and they're going to kill that bottom side hook. We cannot let this get inside here, and there's going to be a lot of guys that try many different ways to do that, okay? So keep in mind, knee stays here, elbow stays on the outside, and the way that I do that is I lock my elbow down to my thigh. If I let it float, he can just dip his elbow in, pop up unannounced real quick. Now he's framing against my hip, and now he's kind of getting inside, starting to work on his pass. Okay, so I don't want this elbow coming inside here. So lock it down here. If it does start to dip inside, here's what we do. Fish that sucker back out of there. Okay, you can kind of abandon the crossface because he's trying to dip that elbow down inside. If he does it unannounced, get it back out of there, and then get your knee back outside. Something to be said about the knee now. We're not looking for this knee shield yet. This is not what we're looking for. We're looking for a low hip knee shield. So I understand that, yes, they can collapse your knee. Your knee is collapsed, okay? But this knee shield serves an entirely different purpose. Okay, we'll go into that here in just a second. We'll talk about the low versus high. So we're low, right? Now what we're going to do is we're going to feed into V-guard. So we're going to scoot the hips out, insert your V, okay? Now you're going to underhook, extract the other, extend out, and just sit up. All right, so I'm doing half. I'm flattened out, okay? Kill that grip, move over the top, frame, come inside here, okay? Now, I'm gonna look for fishing my underhooks. Set him up, let's finish there. Close. Here we go, 1, 2, 3. So, now, we're gonna cover high versus low knee shield and when to use both. I shouldn't say when to use both because it's going to become a matter of preference, really. So for me, I use both kind of intermittently depending on what I'm trying to accomplish. So now let's say we've gotten to are framed out, got into our low knee shield. Now, one of the problems, one of the things that everybody always messes up here is they either get their knee shield in too far, okay, and then they get their hips collapsed like this. So this is a massive problem. Now he's just going to mash you and he's going to pass. You got to be real careful about where you insert your hip. So I always tell everybody, there's this soft little spot on the inside of your knee, on kneecap, that little divot area right there. And what you want to do is you want to put that right on his hip bone. Literally, you will feel the sharp part of his pelvic girdle there hit in that little divot on your knee. And then you're going to lock your feet, okay? And then you're going to kind of start stretching yourself out. It's very uncomfortable. It doesn't feel good. The other thing that it does is, man, it locks him away from you. It does a very, very good job at locking his knees on the ground, far more so than anything else, okay? So if I'm here and I want to keep him in a low angle passing position, all I got to do is drive my hip in, curl that leg into me, and drive the top knee out. So I'm pulling the bottom leg in, driving the top leg out, and my feet are over the top like this. I'm kind of locking them up, and I'm pushing into his hip, curling the leg into me. Okay, that helps to serve to keep his knees down on the mat while we make our transitions between half guard, half butterfly, Z guard, B guard, whatever you want to call it. It keeps his knees down. Now understand, these are all what I would call low angle guards or kneeling guards, where they need to have one knee down or both knees down. So I'm here, okay? Now let's just assume that we need more frame. Kind of like cowbell. Got to have more cowbell, right? Need more frame. I was waiting to throw that in. We need more frame. So I'm not doing great at this, at like pushing them up. Some guys are super strong. And another thing that they try to do is as they kind of start pushing in on me, like I feel like it's all starting to kind of collapse. Okay, so as I get in under here, I can bring my knee kind of high and I can meet my elbow to my knee. All right? Now what starts to happen here is the integrity of the foot lasso kind of starts to dissipate a little bit. But I've got this nice frame up top that's kind of keeping him away. The other thing that it does is the more weight that he puts on that upper end, it allows me to bring my foot brake in, which is my next aspect of the guard. Okay, so my foot brake comes in on this side. Then we can kind of come up, work our way up. All right? So now we're going to start knee shield. Okay? Partner's going to kind of bear in on me just a little bit here and get kind of heavy. I'm going to frame up and push forward. Now I get my knee up high. Okay? Pushing away. Now my bottom side foot brake comes in, and that kind of keeps him at bay. Now I can go double feet in hips, and I can sit up. Close. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.